Hey everyone, so we all know cycling is amazing, right? It's great for you, it's great for the planet, it's great for our cities, but if it's so obviously good, why does actually starting feel so incredibly complicated? Today we're going to dig in and unpack the real barriers that keep so many of us from just hopping on a bike. You've probably felt this. You think, hey, I'll get a bike, you walk into a shop, and bam, you are suddenly drowning in a sea of technical jargon, super expensive gear, and like a million different kinds of bikes. It honestly feels less like you're buying a simple machine and more like you're training for the Tour de France. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to peel it back like an onion, layer by layer. We'll start with all the personal stuff, the gear, the bikes, before we get to the biggest problem of them all. Okay, first up, the stuff. All of it. The accessories, the special clothes, the high-tech gadgets. It really feels like you need this massive shopping list and a small loan just to get started. And look, you're not just imagining this. As Tom Babin from the excellent Shifter channel points out, it really does feel like the industry is kind of obsessed with complicating things. Mostly because its focus on professional racing trickles down and makes everything feel overwhelming for the rest of us. I mean, just look at this disconnect. The industry is pushing all this tech designed for winning races or bombing down mountains. But for just riding around the city, what you actually need is, well, practicality. Not shaving off a few grams or gaining a tenth of a second. Seriously, you can skip almost all of this. Suspension, it's just heavy and inefficient on pavement. Dropper posts that move your saddle up and down, purely for mountain biking. And those special shoes that clip into your pedals, they're a total hassle for running errands. You absolutely do not need to look like a pro cyclist just to go grab some groceries. Just wear your normal clothes. So let's talk about the bike itself. Because with all the options out there, you've got road bikes, gravel bikes, hybrids, e-bikes, it is so easy to get completely stuck in what they call analysis paralysis. So let me just clear this up right now. There is no single best bike. There just isn't. The right bike is the one that actually fits your life, your commute, your budget, and yeah, even your personal style. Here's a really simple way to break it down, based on a great guide from Global Cycling Network. Got a short, flat trip, a simple town bike, or even a fixie? That's a bike with just one gear is perfect. Commute a bit longer with some hills? A gravel bike is a great all-rounder. And if you've got lots of hills or you just don't want to show up to work all sweaty, man, an e-bike is an absolute game changer. But here's the most important thing. Forget all the specs for a second. Is it comfortable? Do you like the way it looks? Does it just make you feel happy and want to ride it? Because honestly, the most expensive high-tech bike in the world is the absolute worst bike if it just sits in your garage collecting dust. Okay, so you've picked a bike, and you've wisely skipped all the hype about unnecessary gear. You're all set to go, right? Well, not quite. Now we have to deal with the day-to-day practical hurdles. These are the unsung heroes, the things that actually turn a bike from a toy into a real transportation tool. Fenders keep mud and water off your back. A rack or a basket carries your groceries. And a good lock, well, that's absolutely critical. I mean, with millions of bikes stolen every single year in North America alone, the fear of theft is a massive barrier for so many people. And GCN makes such a brilliant point here. That constant anxiety of having a super expensive bike stolen is a real burden. Sometimes a cheaper bike gives you this incredible freedom to just lock it up and not spend your whole day worrying about it. Okay, we've simplified the gear, we've picked a bike, we've figured out the lock and all the practical stuff. But you know what? None of that matters one bit if you're too afraid to actually ride on the street. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the single biggest reason most people don't ride a bike. What if the problem isn't something you can just buy your way out of? What if the real problem is everything out there? The YouTube channel Not Just Bikes just nails this again and again. Their video titles alone tell the entire story. Our cities, they're just filled with these things called stroads. And on these stroads, you're expected to share the road with vehicles that seem to get bigger, heavier, and more dangerous with every single model year. And when you put it all together, you get right to the heart of the matter. The fear people feel isn't irrational. In way too many places, cycling is dangerous, and it's dangerous by design. So what even is a stroad? Well, it's this awful, hostile combination of a street and a road. It's too fast and wide to be a safe, pleasant street, but it's too full of driveways and intersections to be an efficient road. It's truly the worst of both worlds, and it's designed for one thing and one thing only, moving cars. And this brings us right to the core of the onion, the real fundamental issue, the reason why so many of us aren't out there cycling. So let's be really clear about this. The problem isn't you. It's not your fitness level, it's not the gear you bought, it's not even the bike you chose. The biggest barrier by far is that for decades, we have systematically designed our towns and cities for cars, making every other option inconvenient at best and terrifyingly dangerous at worst. And it's funny because, as Shifter reminds us, the bicycle wasn't invented for sport. For most of its history, it was a practical urban machine, a revolutionary tool for everyday transportation. This whole intense focus on racing and sport, that's actually a pretty recent thing, and it distracts from the bike's real, incredible purpose.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. We spend so much time obsessing over the perfect gear, the lightest frame, the best components. But what if the greatest cycling accessory you could ever get isn't something you can buy in a store at all? What if it's a protected bike lane, a calmer street, and a city that's actually designed for people?